I need to give you the sharing permission as well. Let me just enable. Hello everyone, I'm Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. So I have Chaitanya with me. Welcome Chaitanya on the platform.
Hi, Sanjay. Thank you.
Yep, so we have one more session on automation test for you. So three sessions already done, and Chaitanya already shared lots of knowledge in front of you. So probably today will be the wrap up session for this bootcamp. So he will be
Yes.
sharing few more tips and tricks with you. So I think we can start. So over to you, Chaitanya.
Thank you, Sanjay. So before I share my screen, as you already mentioned, that today is going to be the last day of the automation testing bootcamp. Today we are going to cover, I think, around 4 topics relating around weights, iframes, actions, and exceptions. And after that, I'm quickly going to tell you the way forward. That is the next steps from here. Good. So let's start.
Yep, sure.
Okay. So I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Cool. So, guys, the first topic for today is going to be weight. That is understanding the concept of weights in test automation. So, before we get into the technical details and nitty-gritties, let me first talk about why this concept of weight came into the picture. So, you must have realized that while loading some websites, it takes more time, right? So, for example, let me go to maybe, I don't know, maybe this website, right? And see, it's taking a lot of time to load. Some websites tend to load a little early. Some websites tend to take some time, right? So in such cases, when you are testing it manually, you know that, okay, I should wait for 2 to 3 more seconds, then I'll go ahead and validate the thing. Right? Fair enough. But when you ask Selenium to do so, because since computers have to be told each and everything, but if in case the time taken to load a page is more, then Selenium will go ahead and fail that particular script, and in that case occurs a false failing, right? So to handle that particular problem, to handle that particular challenge, we have come up with the concept of wait in Selenium. Now, there are different types of weights, that is implicit, explicit, ThreadDoSleep. So to start with, the first type of weight that we can use is implicit weight, right? Now, let us quickly go through the definition, which is they are both used. So basically, the implicit wait is used to wait for an element to appear on the page. Right? Now, what implicit wait will do, it sets a default timeout for the entire test runtime globally. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the code as well. But for now, just understand the definition, right? So, just talking about it manually, what implicit wait will do is, for example, if I navigate to jaloga.com, this URL, and maybe I click on this style, and let's go and first click on the style, right? So it takes some time to load. This web page is taking some time to load. Now I have to scroll down as an action, and I have to verify that whether this particular word is present on the screen or not, right? This is a test case. Now let's suppose I have like instant wait. In that case, what Selenium will do is that it will wait for the defined amount of seconds before each and every step, right? So imagine, I'm going to quickly show you the steps as well. Just give me a second. Cool. Okay. So imagine that the step is that. Perfect. So it says navigate to URL, that is jaloga.com. Click on first article, that is step number 2. Then step number 3 is that you verify the word, whichever is there, right? So when I apply implicit wait, I'll have to give the method implicit wait, and I'll have to define the seconds for it to wait, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention it as implicit wait, of course, the correct syntax, and then I'm going to pass in the seconds. That is, how many seconds should it wait, right? So for example, if I pass in 3, So just imagine that before each and every step, or rather after each and every step, it is going to wait for 3 seconds, right? So as soon as the first step is hit, that is navigate to URL, it will wait for 3 seconds, right? And then after clicking on the first article, again, it will wait for 3 seconds. And after clicking on, or rather verifying the word, it will wait for 3 seconds until unless there is, let's suppose if there is no other validation after that, then of course it will not wait, right? So this is the concept of wait or implicit waits in general. That is, you define implicit wait method plus you give it the time. Now you might question that, okay, what if the page is loaded before 3 seconds, right? So for example, if I navigated to this particular website and I was able to access this particular web page, that is visa-free countries for India, if I was able to access this web page in less than 3 seconds, let's say 1 or 1.5 seconds, right? Even then, Selenium will wait for 3 seconds. No, it will not. Because if the web page is loading in lesser time, and if Selenium waits for more time, it basically reduces the efficiency of execution. It increases the time of execution, which is very bad, right? End of the day, automation purpose is to make sure that the time of execution is reduced, the testing time is reduced. So in that case, consider it more as less than or equal to 3 seconds, right? So if it loads in less than 3 seconds, it will go ahead and proceed, and it waits maximum for 3 seconds, right? So that is the concept of implicit wait. I could have easily just gone through the method for now, but see, looking at examples in this manner makes you grab the topic better. Once you do that, then I think the method can be very easy for you to understand. Now let's go and have a look at the method as well. Do you see line number 19? And folks, if you do not know that what is happening in this entire class, I mean, what is written in the above lines and all, please go and refer to the previous videos that I have created we have had live bootcamp sessions, plus there is the channel of me, which is Tech and More. I'll be, the link of the channel is in the video description as well. You can go ahead and access that particular playlist, that is Sales with Automation Testing, wherein everything is in detail. Anyhow, coming back to the main topic, that is, in line number 19, it says driver.manage.timeouts.implicitly wait, as we discussed, right? And then we said that, yes, we have to declare the timing as well, right? So now, using this example, as you see on the screen, you have got the context of why this implicit wait is required. Once we know that, we can simply go ahead and simply call this method, which is implicitly wait, and pass in the timing as per our own needs. It can be 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It all depends upon you, right? One very important thing that you should know as an automation tester, and it can be asked as an interview question as well, that if, let's suppose the duration is 5 seconds, and if the web page loads within 2 seconds, then will Selenium wait for the complete 5 seconds? So the answer is no, right? This is very, very important to me. Cool. So this is implicitly wait. Now let's talk about the second type of wait, which is explicit wait, right? So explicit wait basically sets timeouts for specific conditions. The keyword here is condition. Again, an example. So maybe the web page, when I hit login.salesforce.com, the web page loads, but it sometimes, due to some faulty or some errors, it takes time to load username and password, right? The web page loads in general, I'm able to see this image, but this particular username and password field takes some time to load, right? In that case, I can put in a condition which says that until this particular username input box is not visible, till that time, do not proceed. And this is something which I can do using an explicit wait, right? So basically, explicit wait helps you with the conditions. And some of these conditions can be, let's go and see the practical example. So, okay, I think we have to go here. Okay, so the scenario here is something like, we have the objects instantiated, we have the implicit wait, everything is then done. Then we have driver.get, that is, we are navigating to a URL, which is login.salesforce.com. Then we are locating the web element username and password along with their experts. Again, if you do not understand what is happening, please refer to the previous videos. Now, talking about explicit wait. So, as it mentions in the comment, explicit wait tells the WebDriver to wait for certain condition before the maximum time exceeds. Now, let's go ahead and see it in action as well, right? So, in line number 34, we instantiated an object for wait. I mean, this is a typical syntax declaration. I'll just quickly go through it one time. So for whenever you have to declare an explicit wait, you have to mention it's something like this. And in duration dot of seconds, you have to mention the time as we did in implicit wait. Cool. Now, the most critical part is line number 36. So if we go ahead and if we just watch it closely, it says wait dot until, right? So wait dot until is basically a condition. And then we say expected conditions dot visibility of. That is until and unless this particular web element, that is username element, as you can see in line number 29 as well, that is the username input box. Until this input box is not visible, please wait for 10 seconds. That is dot visibility of. Now you might question that, okay, the visibility of is one condition. Perfect, fine, fair enough. But what happens if there are other conditions as well, right? In that case, what you need to do is you simply need to go ahead and press dot, and you'll have these numerous conditions that you can use, right? For example, you have alert is present. So for example, you have to verify that until and unless you're not able to see alert, you should not click on OK, right? Which is fair enough as well. So all these different types of conditions are pre-available with this particular method, and you can go and use them, right? Cool. So this is all you need to know about explicit conditions in general or explicit time wait. Then we have the last contender, which is ThreadDoSleep, right? So if you remember that when I was talking about the example of implicit wait, let me go and take you to the scenario once. So what I said is that 3 seconds, if I declare as the time, that is the maximum time, right? And if the web page loads before 3 seconds, then it will go ahead and proceed. It will not wait for the entire 3 second time, right? So for example, let us break 3 seconds into 3 parts. That is 1 plus 1 plus 1, right? So let's suppose if the page loads in the first second, then it will not wait for another 2 seconds. It will not. It will straight away delete this and it will proceed, right? But in the case of ThreadDoSleep, that is, let me simply just write it down as well. That is ThreadDoSleep method. If I give the time as 3000 milliseconds, so one quick pointer. In ThreadDoSleep, we do not give the parameter as seconds, we give it as milliseconds, right? So 3 seconds is basically 3000 milliseconds. So let's suppose if I gave 3000 milliseconds as ThreadDoSleep, or all in all 3 seconds. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, again, let's break it into 3 equal parts. Now, even if the web page loads within 1 second, within 0.5 seconds, within 2 seconds, the Selenium is going to wait for an entire 3 seconds. That is, it is a static wait. It is not going to change as per the loading time changes. So in cases wherein you know that yes, it is going to take a lot of time, that is wherein you go and use ThreadDoSleep. But a tip for you from my practical experience, avoid using ThreadDoSleep because it increases the execution time to a lot of extent, right? So you should always avoid using ThreadDoSleep, rather focus on implicit and explicit. So that is all that you needed to know about waits in general, the concept and the code. So do we have any questions till now, Sanjay?
No, Chaitanya. No, not yet.
Okay. So quickly before I proceed, let me take you to my YouTube channel, which is Tech in Mode, right? And so we have been running this automation testing bootcamp, and we have talked a lot about automation testing in general. But of course, we cannot cover everything in detail in such bootcamp. This is more of giving you the flavor of how automation testing is. So the channel that you see on the screen right now, which is Tech in Mode, that's my channel. I've created an entire playlist on Salesforce automation testing. That is in general how you can learn automation testing on the Salesforce platform. And for folks who do not come from the Salesforce background or do not want to learn Salesforce, no worries, no issues. Automation, if you refer to this playlist, it is for Salesforce and non-Salesforce folks as well, for both. It works for both the platforms, that is both the cases. So this playlist has all the videos right from the beginner level up to the, I would say, to an advanced level. I would say in this case, a pre-advanced level, that is, you will get to know all the basics of Selenium. You will know the different methods and everything. And I can confidently say that by the end of this playlist, you will have a very, very good understanding of test automation and Selenium in general, and you will be able to give interviews as well, right? So if you face any questions or any issues, please refer to my videos in this playlist. The URL to this particular channel, to this particular playlist is mentioned in the video description. And if you have any questions, any comments, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or comment on the videos. We are pretty responsive when it comes to the questions. Okay, so for now, we are done with the concept of weights. Now let's go and talk about the second topic of the day, which is iframes. So before we go and talk about what iframes are and how to handle these things and all, let me first tell you that what actually an iframe is, right? So let me take you to a sample website for that matter. Okay, we have this website with us, which is a very good website to refer to. Cool. So now, if you see closely, you have a web page. That is true, but then you have some different boxes in it, right? This is a sample page. Then you have a gray box. Then you have another gray box, right? Then you might have this sort of an advertisement. So you have to know one thing before understanding iframes, that when ads are embedded or when some separate components are embedded in a web page, they are usually embedded in a frame, right? So what is an iframe? A very simple definition is it's a web page inside a web page. I mean, in amateur terms, right? So let's suppose if I want to go ahead and access this particular text, this is a sample page, and I usually use my XPath and I'm able to locate this element, that's fine. But when I run a script using Selenium, this will fail, because for Selenium, I have navigated to this particular URL, that's fine. But after that, when I'm asking it to access this particular line, this is a sample page, it will not be able to access because it is located inside another web page. That is a nested web page. So we have to first ask Selenium to enter into this particular web page, that is, in more technical terms, this particular iframe, right? Again, a web page inside a web page is termed as an iframe in amateur terms, but we call it iframe in more technical words. So never, refrain from using some amateur words. This is just for understanding. But yes, you have to tell Selenium that you have to go and enter into this particular iframe, and then you can go and access it, right? So this is the concept of iframe. And how do you know whether the iframes are present on the web page or not? You simply go and click on inspect, and you search for iframe. See, you see numerous results here, right? So that means that there are a lot of iframes here. So I hope that the relevance of iframe is quite clear now. I'm not going to go through the definition in that case. Then, okay, you might ask that, yes, you did tell us a lot about iframes and all, but how do we handle it, right? So, of course, there is a solution to it. So let me take you to the example again. Now let's do one thing. Let's go and run the script once, right? So the steps are quite simple. In line number 21, you navigate to this web page. Then you simply, in line number 34, you simply use an XPath and you fetch the text which locates this particular text or this particular web element on the web page. And then we quit it, right? It's a simple scenario. We have learned this in the previous sessions. Let's go and run it. I think it should work, but let's see if it does or not, right? So, okay, the scenario is running. For reference, I'll show you. See, now let's go and have a look at the error. So it says iframe in Windows, and then you have this no such element exception. Basically, this is an iframe issue because it did try to locate this particular line, which is a sample page, right? It tried to locate this particular element on the entire web page, but mind you, it will not be able to enter into this iframe or this iframe or this box or this box or this box, right? So we have to give it a way to enter into this box. And how do we do it? Just focus on line number 26. So it says driver dot switch to dot frame. This is the basic syntax. And then you have to give the frame ID, right? So whichever frame ID you give, it enters into that particular iframe. Cool. Now let's see how to locate the iframe of our choice. Again, I'm going to go and click on this particular gray box, and using the concept of nesting, I'm going to go up and above the nodes. So right now I'm here. Let me go to the above node. Now let me go to the above node. Do you see the word iframe written here, right? And do you see that there is an attribute value of ID and frame? So ID is equals to frame 1. So the name of the frame is frame 1. Cool. So from here in, we have fetched the frame 1, right? Now, when you run this one more time, you will be able to fetch the text. Let's see if it works or not quickly.
So it takes time, right?
Yeah, it takes time because the web page is a little slow.
Okay.
So it takes time due to that, and that is why we handle it. Meanwhile, do we have any questions, Sanjay?
Not now.
Okay. Cool. So it's taking some time, a web page issue for sure. So no worries. What I'll do is I'll just pause this execution for now in favor of time. I'll share the code with you folks. And of course, the code is already shared on the video, so you can refer to those videos. The code is there. To go and try running this particular script at your own level. And you will see that this particular element is now printed. There will be no error. So the execution will go smoothly, right? Okay. So we have had a word about iframes in general, right? Now, this was the second topic for the day. Now again, let's go on to the third topic, that is actions. So the concept of actions class is quite important in general. And what is it? First, let's understand. So do you know that, and of course you have encountered this a lot of times, that when you're performing some action during your testing, there are some actions which are to be performed which do not come under the usual actions. For example, if I go to this page which is login.salesforce.com, and let's suppose if I want to copy this particular text, right? And if I want to right click on my mouse, right? Maybe if I want to hover over anything, let's suppose if I want to hover over this element, all these actions you perform on a regular basis because you're doing it manually. You do not think about it. But have you ever given a thought that how does Selenium handle it? We have never discussed anything like this, right? So this is where actions class comes into the picture, right? So these are some actions which can be performed using the actions class. So mouse actions can be if you want to double click, if you want to click and hold. So sometimes you just want to click for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Then if you want to drag and drop, so you want to drag one element to another place, then you have to move to element, that is just shift the pointer to some other place, right? And then context click is basically performing right click on the mouse, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. Cool. So these are some actions which you perform on mouse that can be performed using actions class. Then you have the actions on keyboard. So send keys is one of the actions class. One of the actions method. Then you have key up, key down. So basically, you have this action of caps lock, pressing shift, and then typing something when you want to capitalize something. So all these actions can be performed using actions class, right? Now let's go and see the code in general. So so there's some problem with the Eclipse. I'll just restart it.
Okay, no problem.
Just restarted it. Yeah. So we were talking about actions class in general, and now let's go and have a look at the code as well. So focus on line number 31 up till line number 37, right? So the use case is that you navigate to mail.google.com, right? And then you locate the username input box using this XPath, which is input type is equals to email. And then you perform some actions on that particular input element. The first one will be that you move to that element. That is, you move your cursor to the username input box. Then the second action is key down, right? Which is keys.shift. So you press the shift button. Then the third is .send keys. That is, you enter the text into it. Then double click is that you highlight it. So the thing that I'm doing right now, that you see on the screen right now is, so if I want to highlight something, you usually double press it, right? So the same action we are performing with double click, right? And then you have context click. That is, you perform, you right click and you have this menu open. And 37 is more of a syntactical format, that is .build.perform. You write at the end of every action object or the methods that you're instantiating, because that goes ahead and performs these actions, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out driver.quick, and now let's see that how does it actually work. Hoping that the web page loads on time, but yeah. Okay, so we are navigating to mail.google.com. See, it happened very quickly. So we navigated and then we located this particular input box, which is email. Then I entered the data in the capitalized format, and then I double clicked on it, and then I pressed the right button. I did not do it. My bad. This is what Selenium is doing with the help of actions class, right? So this is the power of actions class in general, that using this particular class and the methods in it, you can perform such different actions or operations. For example, caps lock, shift, or maybe control if you want to press one button and type something else. Maybe double click or right click, and all these actions can be performed using the actions class. Okay, so this is the third topic for the day. And now we are going to go and have a look at the last topic for this particular bootcamp, which is exceptions. So guys, exceptions are always there, right? We already know that exceptions is something which is to be learned about, read about all the time. Same is the case with Selenium. So there, when you're working on things, when you're working on code, when you're working on scripting, a lot of times your code breaks, right? Now, what Selenium has done is that it has provided us with features of exceptions. That is, some exceptions point to some potential issues, right? So it will not give you a vague answer or a vague response that is okay. Yes, this is breaking, but I don't know how, right? So it has to give you some context, some hints, some help to figure out that error, right? So if there are multiple exceptions that Selenium provides, there are numerous exceptions, but of course we cannot discuss all of them at one go. For now, I'm going to only discuss one exception, that is this no such session exception. And that will give you a very good look and feel of how exceptions work, right? So let me take you to the code first. Now, okay, so the scenario is quite normal, that we navigate to login.salesforce.com, and let me comment out the entire thing for the time being. Cool. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to navigate to URL, right? Of course, if I navigate to URL, the browser is open. Then I'm going to go and give the command, which is driver.quit, right? And then by mistake, I again gave the command as driver.get, right? Let's see what happens. So the execution has started, and it is opening up the browser, navigating to login.salesforce.com. Now it will quit, but somehow we got this error, right? And if you see, it says exception underscore handling, because that's the class name, the file name, line number 44, this one, right? And now let's scroll and have a look at the error. So I hope that this particular highlight is visible to you. So it says org.openqa.selenium.no such session exception, right? So what does it mean? Manually, let's see what does it mean, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first open this browser, which is already done. Then I'm going to search for login.salesforce.com. Okay, just have a look at what I'm doing manually. I'm navigated to the URL. Perfect. Now I'm going to go and close this particular window. And when I do this, we have reached till line number 41 in Selenium, right? Now again, I'm asking the browser to go and navigate to the URL, which is login.salesforce.com. But do you realize one thing? Now Chrome is not open. So how will it go and navigate to that URL, right? So that in that case, you are encountered with such issues. Now one might question that, this sort of seems like an obvious thing. Why would someone give such a command? So folks, in this setup, we are in the learning phase. We are just having a look at a few lines of code. But when in actual projects, you have numerous hundreds of lines of code, right? And some minor modifications, changes, removals are happening on a day-to-day basis by multiple people, right? So we are humans prone to errors. So in those cases, when the issues occur due to some manual errors, then at that point of time, when next time you see no such session exception in the list of hundreds of errors, you'll know that, okay, in this particular file, in this particular line, there is something messed up with the driver.quit, that is the session has been closed, right? So these exceptions are meant to help you. And now then you have some other exceptions as well. For example, you have element not interactable. You have no such element exception, no such frame exception, no such window exception. All these exceptions you have. But yes, of course, if you want to learn about them, just refer to the playlist that I just told you a little while ago. Therein we have discussed all these exceptions in detail. So that brings us to the end of the last topic for the day, which is exceptions in Selenium. I hope that these 4 topics were, I mean, you do have some understanding of it now. And for more details, again, as I mentioned, go and have a look at the playlist. You'll have all the things in detail. So that's all for now. And I hope with this, we can put an end to the automation testing bootcamp that we started, Sanjay. And before closing, I would just like to quickly help you with the steps after this. So as I mentioned, number 1 is you can refer to the playlist for more details. Number 2 is, the most important thing is that, guys, there is a lot of noise around certifications in the market right now. Of course, certifications are important. But before opting for automation certifications, some certifications are, one can be for Java. So you have these Java certified professionals because you were using Java extensively in Selenium. Then number 2 is that you can go ahead and you can appear for ISTIC to be advanced automation certifications. But honestly, even you and me and everybody knows that do not do the certifications just for the sake of doing them, right? Because let's suppose if you do a certification before knowing things, before learning, before doing them practically, and if you put it in your resume, and if, and 99% the resume, the interviewer will catch you that this is fake, right? Because if you are putting in a certification, I somehow expect that you know things in a lot of detail, right? And trust me when I say this, because I have myself taken around 300 to 400 interviews till date regarding QA, automation, testing, API testing and all these things. So the moment I see ISTQB certifications or Salesforce certifications, or my expectation bar rises, right? And even if the folk is not able to answer medium questions, I'm highly disappointed. As opposed to the case that you do not have a certification, but you are able to answer medium level questions, then somehow my appreciation increases as compared to the folk who was not able to answer the same question, but claim to have a certification, right? So go for these certifications, but before that, please learn things, spend some time on it, learn some practical examples. And one friendly tip to you: when you're coding, you will face a lot of issues if you're a newbie, right? Do not always rely on somebody to help you out. I'm not saying that you should not ask for help. Please go and search things at your own level. Refrain from spoon feeding every time. You have Stack Overflow, you have numerous platforms, right? So, especially for Selenium, you have a very, very strong community. As soon as you face an issue, you copy that issue, you paste it on Google, you'll find numerous articles. Yes, it takes time to go through each and every article. Some might help, some may not help. That's true. But that is the best way of learning. The things that you learn from that particular way is the best, right? If you ask somebody every time, you will not be able to learn things at your own level. You will not be able to understand that knack for cracking things, right? See, honestly, when we work as SDITs, nobody is going to ask you to remember the syntax. Nobody is going to ask you to remember the methods, right? We when we interview you, we want to know that, do you know the concepts of test automation? Do you know the methods which are to be applied where? Do you know that how to handle a situation if you're stuck at an error, right? These things are important. So the roadmap from here in is that you go and refer to the videos, you learn things in detail, try practical examples, break things, look for solutions on the internet, try more things, spend some time, then you go and ask questions, and then you finally prepare a practical automation script on any website that you prefer, right? So I think that should be your aim for now, and the certifications, of course, come later on. So I think that's all for now. Sanjay, I've spoken a lot. I'll give the stage back to you. So yeah, that's all from my end.
I think very good insight you gave. Those who want to ramp their career in automation testing area. So this will be a good advice for them, because you shared quite a lot content. Maybe in 4 sessions you covered a few things. because everything we cannot cover in detail because it is
Right,
already
right.
available on your channel. So we you just gave an idea, and if anybody wants to ramp their career, so they can just go to your channel and they can learn the whole test automation thing, right?
Right.
So that would be good. And you already shared the knowledge about what certification they need to do and how people can prepare themselves for the interview, right? So I think all this knowledge combinedly will help those folks who are doing manual QA, want to
Yeah.
ramp themselves as automation tester. So they kind of get a path like how they can start. So guys, at least just do a try, learn things, and just give an interview. So you might get selected, and then you can by doing some projects you will be learning a more, right?
Yeah.
So I think like with this bootcamp, if a few folks will be able to get some job in automation field, so I
Yeah.
think our job is done, Chaitanya, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Even if it helps, if few folks are able to crack the job using these playlists or this bootcamp, I think our job is done, and it makes us very happy. Of course, you know it more than me, so
Right.
let's hope that it helps everybody.
Yeah, perfectly. And one more information, guys, those who are watching this live or those who will be watching the recording. So we'll be soon launching our business analyst manual QA and automation test course as well.
Yeah.
So right now, SGTS is offering only two courses. One is focused on admin and one is focused on development. So apart from that admin, so subset of that, I will be focusing on more on QA and BA side. So we will be launching that course soon, and we'll share the more information. And we'll
Yeah.
keep the price of that course very low so that those who want to
Right.
learn testing and business analyst thing in real, so they can enroll in the course and then you can go from there.
Right.
So yeah, there you will get the personalized guidance from Chaitanya. So he will be explaining everything in detail. So Selenium, you are using Java, so he will be guiding you on the basics of Java, like how to write the code that is necessary for the testing only. Not the whole
Right.
Java you need to learn. You just need to learn the few things that you can use for automation testing purpose only. Okay, so this is it. Thank you, Chaitanya, for sharing your knowledge
Thank you, Sanjay.
for
Thank you.
community and sparing some time, because it is very difficult. We both are doing a regular job, and apart
Yeah.
from that, we are doing. So I really appreciate. I know it is very difficult to manage additional time, and this is not just 30-40 minute session. I know you did a lot of preparation,
Yeah.
content creation, so I can feel that. So really appreciate your time. And
Thank you so much, Sanjay, and
yeah.
thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I mean, trust me, giving these sessions has groomed me a lot. So again, thank you so much. And for folks who are watching this video, yes, this is the last video for automation testing. That's true. But we are going to come up with more boot camps, with more live sessions on different topics pertaining to tech career in general.
Right.
And so stay tuned. And of course, it's not only specific to automation. We are going to come up with many more ideas, many more thoughts. For example, BA, Agile model, Scrums, and everything. So stay tuned and do subscribe to Sanjay's channel, because I'll be there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you, everyone, for joining this
Thank you,
session.
Sanjay. Thank you.
Bye.